Up next on the MARR Army Rock Show, we have got Bob from Silent Theory with us. They're a band out of Moscow, Idaho, and they've got a current single out, Before the Storm, right now. And hey, man, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
So, hey, I want to go back, for folks that may not know the band and give a little bit of the history of the band. It's coming up on your 10th anniversary. In some ways, it was kind of a family-based band at the start, wasn't it?
A little bit. So, Mitch and I played in a band before Silent Theory, and at the tail end of that, Scott kind of came into that project, and when it ran its course, and we decided to start a new project and get Silent Theory rolling. It was Scott and Mitch, and then right before we recorded our first album, we brought George into the fold, and so now we do have three brothers in the band, and then Dakota and I are just kind of the other guys.
So how's that dynamic work, man? Do the brothers get along good, or is it one of those brotherly rivalry things from time to time on the tour bus?
You know, honestly, they are a very, very close-knit family, and they're super welcoming and stuff like that. And so just as a whole, their family has just been really great to be a part of. But as far as, like, the brothers, like, they've been playing music together their entire lives, so there's a little bit of a natural chemistry there that helps out quite a bit, I think. But, I mean, really, honestly, we don't have too many struggles and stuff like that. And the nice thing about it is they are close enough, and they're the type of family that, like, when they do get upset, like, they say what they need to say, the short, like, if you want to call it an argument, whatever, like, we get it out of the way, and then we all go eat dinner, or, whatever it is, like, we just kind of move on after that.
That's an awesome relationship to have, man. That touring road can be tough in tight quarters sometimes, so it's good to hear that. Hey, so the new single's out right now, Before the Storm, and that tune has kind of a powerful message to us, so why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so, I mean, we try and write songs that mean something to us, and hopefully they mean something to everybody else. And I mean, I would say that we are very much influenced by the world around us, and I mean, it's hard not to be with social media and the news, and just, there's so much input and information coming at you all the time. But one of the things that we really just kind of kept noticing was, like, this opioid epidemic that was, kind of being talked about, but at the same time, nobody's doing anything about it. And our last album, called Delusions, that we released about 2 years ago, had a really strong theme and influence of mental health and stuff like that. And, we felt like this was a really good tie-in and transition, because, I mean, I don't know any statistics off the top of my head, but I would venture to guess that a lot of people who are struggling with addiction to opioids or alcohol or, whatever it is, are also suffering from some level of mental illness and stuff like that, whether it's depression or anxiety or whatever it is. But it's just one of those things that, like, they're all very taboo topics in our culture, but it's something that affects everybody. And, like, the scary thing about the opioid epidemic is that it's so accessible, and, like, a lot of people start because they get hurt, they go to the doctor, they get prescribed some medicine, and then, it kind of takes hold of them, because, I mean, it's a lot of times it's pretty strong, scary stuff. And it's a lot of times just the right situation of a combination of things that leads to a bigger problem. But it touches everyone. Like, it doesn't care who you are, how much money you make, anything like that. Like, everybody's susceptible to it. But it doesn't really feel like we're doing a lot to, address the issue. So
now, you guys did a nice job kind of capturing that message in the music video for the song Behind the Storm. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the making of that music video?
Yeah, so we shot it in two different, like, sections and stuff. So we have some, like, live band shots that we shot in Spokane at an old Kaiser aluminum, like, factory or recycling plant or something like that that's abandoned, and they shoot, like, a zombie TV show there now. But when we shot it, it was like 20 degrees outside, and so it was a really long day, but totally worth it because the shots kind of came through really nicely and stuff like that. But the story portion of the video, like, John Kuritz, who shot the video for us, we'd never worked with actors before, and so he kind of helped us get the two people involved, and they both, were excited and jumped at the opportunity once we kind of told them what the video was about. And, we really wanted to tell a story that was relatable, and, like, so the video kind of goes through a sequence of, somebody coming home from the hospital and having their prescriptions, and then slowly, like, getting more and more addicted to it, and then, just kind of like a very real situation that could possibly happen to any of us. So we really tried to tell it in a a helpful way. Like, we really wanted the video to be more of a PSA and not, just because we're not trying to call anybody out. Like, like I said, everybody's susceptible to the dangers of addiction and things like that.
I know you guys are in the process of working on a new record. So where are you in the process? And tell us a little bit about where you're recording and who's producing.
So I think we are going to be doing all of our recording with Jimmy Hill at Amplified Wax. He helped us do our album Delusions with our hit single Fragile Minds, and we really, really like the sound that we get out of him, and he has like a real passion for the music, and he's a pretty creative guy, so he helps out quite a bit with finding some of those harmonies and some of those accenting parts that really make a song go from good to great. And so we're really excited to work with him again. But yeah, we got a couple songs that we feel really strong about. We got a couple songs that are nearly there and stuff like that. And so I don't know exactly what our timetable is. I know we're shooting for as soon as possible, but we also want the songs to be as best as we can make them. So I know we have some studio time locked down to get at least that ball rolling, get some of that stuff knocked out. But definitely in 2019, we will have a new album out for everybody.
Now, another song that's been out for a little bit now I wanted to talk to you about, though, was the tune Watch Me Burn. Tell me a little bit what that tune's about.
It's another prime example of just like us being influenced by the world around us, because it just, every time you turn on the TV or you get on Facebook or whatever it is, like whether it's politics or, a natural disaster or a school shooting or like there's so much negativity going on in our world, and sometimes it's almost too much, and it's hard to focus on the positive when there's so much negative. But that was kind of the whole point of the video, was like, we're all going through this really tough time, but we're going through it together. And so, like, whether it's applicable to a very personal situation or if it's just the overall arching, like, whatever it is you're struggling with, we really just want to, again, kind of send a little bit of a message of, like, you're not alone. Like, there's lots of people who are also going through this, and, like, and kind of a theme that we have in a lot of our songs is, like, there's strength in asking for help. Like, unfortunately, like I said, there's a lot of stigma with a lot of things in our culture, but it's okay to need help sometimes. Like, every now and then, everybody needs a hand up. So we really just want to try and give a little bit of positivity back to the world.
So for folks that are thinking about seeing you guys live, you got a pretty cool tour coming up with a national act there just around the corner. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that tour you got coming up?
Yeah, so as of January 1st this year, we officially started working with Paul Crosby, formerly of Saliva. He's doing artist management and stuff like that now, and he's really hooking us up. And in April, we're heading out and doing a short little run with Head PE, and we're super excited about that. Those guys have been killing it and been on the scene for I don't even know how long, but they haven't lost a step, and we're really excited to go hit the road and play some shows with those guys and hit the upper Midwest. But we got a lot of things that Paul's working on for us right now, and we got a lot more announcements that we're hoping to make here shortly. So just a lot of exciting things happening.
Now, you guys being a band from Idaho, I can imagine that might present certain geographic challenges, doesn't it, to making it on the national scene?
It really, really does. Like, you wouldn't necessarily think about it, and I think a lot of people, at first when we tell them that we're from Idaho, they're like, whoa, I'm sorry, what? Yeah, it really does make a difference, because, you get over on the East Coast or the Midwest, and a lot of these very popular tour stops are 2 to 4 hours away from each other, and sometimes 6 hours away for a long drive. But for us to get to, say, Chicago, it's like a day and a half drive. So and it's the same kind of thing. Like, if we play Seattle and Portland and Boise and stuff a lot, but those are all like 6 hour drives from where we are, so it is a little bit of a challenge.
So, hey, one of the other things I wanted to salute you for, and I believe I got the right band member here, is I saw a military photo of you, and we are big supporters of the military. So, thank you for your service, and tell us a little bit about your service.
Yeah, so I guess I can divulge my age a little bit. I'm a little bit older than a lot of the guys on the scene, I think. I'm definitely the oldest in the band, but I was a senior in high school when September 11th happened, and so during my senior year, like a month or so before my 18th birthday, I signed papers and joined the Marine Corps. And then immediately after graduation, rather, I went down to boot camp and then kind of did the whole thing and deployed to Iraq in 2005. And I don't know, I'm really glad I did it. Really enjoyed it, and it's definitely something I'm very proud of and glad to be a part of that family.
Well, much respect to you for that, man. I saw the picture, and I just we have nothing but the highest things to say for our military. So thank you so much for that. Hey, I noticed something, man. For you guys got a pretty nice looking tour bus for not to put it that way, a band at your stage. Tell us a little about your tour bus.
Sadly, we had a really nice looking tour bus. So last summer we were on a little bit of a tour. We hit like Oklahoma and Metal in the Mountains and played a bunch of shows like in between all of those. And we were heading back, and our last road show was in Grand Junction, and we were coming from like the direction of like Illinois and stuff. And we'd had random problems here and there. We'd kind of been patching it together and hoping for the best. And then by the time we got to Denver, the bus just completely broke down on the side of the freeway. And so it turned into like an all-night, scavenger hunt to try and find a U-Haul and rental cars and all this other stuff. But then also trying to find something that could tow our trailer. And I mean, we went to like, I think 3 different U-Hauls before we found something that would work. And, met I don't even know how many different Uber drivers, because we all kind of scattered in different directions trying to find stuff. But we made it to Grand Junction by the skin of our teeth and showed up, and I think it was probably the best show of the tour. We played with Saliva and a couple bands out of LA, and it was a lot of fun. The people in Grand Junction were absolutely phenomenal.
Well, hey, man, I'm a big fan of your music. I think you guys keep hitting it, and you're going to be rolling in another tour bus just like that before long, I think. So they are Silent Theory. They are from Moscow, Idaho, and their current single is Before the Storm, out right now. Hey, man, thanks so much for being here with us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.